And hello everyone, Maestro here. I am the football enthusiast. Hope you are all doing well. Alright, so today's video is a discussion video about Pochettino and Chelsea and Erik ten Hag and Manchester United, and how from these two games, what can we learn about where they could be going. So I've thought of this because there's been a lot of discussion about both teams. They both lost in the past weekend. West Ham beating Chelsea 3-1, Spurs beating United 2-0. Both teams were away, and it's raised discussion about Poch and is Chelsea still the same old Chelsea, and Ten Hag, it's been over a year now, start of his second year, should he be under pressure now? And I'm gonna give you guys my general thoughts on the whole situation. But before we get into that, please, if you haven't already and you want to keep up with the channel, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn the bell on for notifications. Also, you can find links to all my socials down below in the description. Let's start. Let's get into the video. So we'll first start with Chelsea and Poch. 3-1 loss against West Ham away from home. That makes it one draw against Liverpool and one loss now in 2 games. We all know what happened last season. We all know how much of a wreck last season was for Chelsea. It got pretty ugly. We all understand that. And bringing in Poch, bringing in all these new signings, hope for a new look, completely new look, and completely different results. And on paper, it doesn't look so good so far, does it? But I've got to say, look, my general thoughts on this game real quick. This isn't a video about my match reactions, but I will just quickly say it was a weird game. I felt it just pretty much Chelsea were not clinical and West Ham were very much clinical. They were fantastic in front of goal. West Ham very, very clinical, and Chelsea just wasteful as they have been all last season. And in that regard, they were the same. But watching the game with the eye test, getting rid of the pen and papers, the statistics and all that stuff, watching Chelsea against Liverpool, watching this squad of players against Liverpool and now against West Ham, I've got to say, I think if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be very optimistic about this season. And so my prediction for Chelsea was 5th. And I think with what I've seen in the first 2 games, that is actually a good prediction. Now let me explain myself. Not everything can look, sometimes the table, sometimes results can lie to you. Alright, especially this early on. 2 games, 1 draw, 1 loss, I get that. 3-1 loss away at West Ham, I get that. For a team that wants to get into the top 4, that's not good enough. I understand that. But they look good. Poch has already kind of put his mark on this team already with their play style. Dominating possession, good passes, good play in general at times. But yes, they are struggling up front. Defensively, they look kind of good. Especially with the injuries they have in this team. I think all around have the mark of Pochettino, and you can see it's his team. It looks good. Other reasons to be excited is that the signings coming in, there is still potential. There's so much potential there. Caicedo will start. I know Caicedo had a horrid showing, gave away a penalty. In general, just played bad. I get that, but he came on. He will start next game. He will get a string of games. He will get time with this squad, as will Disasi, as will all of the other signings too. And I suspect, with the potential I see in them, I suspect they will all continue to improve along with Poch. And he will continue as he goes on and on with Chelsea to truly make Chelsea a full-on 100% Pochettino team. And that, we have seen in the past with Tottenham, is a recipe for possibility in success. Now, he didn't win anything with Spurs, but we all know the level of plays he had was completely different to what he could potentially have here with Chelsea. So even though they lost, even though they drew, there's a different look. They are not the Chelsea of last season. They pass the ball very, very well. They're very direct. They seem very much unified. And that, plus the individual talent that I know is in that squad, and the kind of coach that Poch is, that can release that potential in those young lads, I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic about this possible first season. I think they look good. I sometimes results can lie to you. Sometimes the table can lie to you, especially this early on. And in this case, I ask all of you people that are, criticizing Chelsea, saying that they are still bad, to ignore the results, ignore the table. They look good on the eye test. They do. And yeah, I mean, I think with Nkunku, like with Caicedo getting a run of games, with Disasi and all the other signings getting a run of games and getting more and more time, with Enzo looking fantastic, with Nkunku coming back, with Reece James coming back, with Poch having more and more time with this squad, the potential for me is actually kind of scary. They look really, really good, or at least they look like they could be really, really good. And honestly, I'd see no reason why to not trust Poch to get that out of this team. In spite of these recent results, I think they'll be in good hands. And I said 5th at the start of the season. After week 2, I feel very confident about that choice. And you know what? Maybe they could go even higher. But we will see, because of course the results they will need to come in regardless of the performances, and we will all see. Now, let's move on to Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. Their most recent performance was a 2-0 loss to Tottenham Hotspur. Postecoglou recently started his second game. They looked fantastic. Real quick, thoughts on the game. The game for me was won and lost in the midfield. Casemiro was completely overrun. Bissouma, Sarr were fantastic. They dominated the midfield, and they just put too much of a load. With them bypassing Casemiro and Mount far too easily, they just overloaded the defense, and they won. And also offensively, United were just far too wasteful, and that's kind of where I think the game was won and lost. But let's now talk about United as a whole and Ten Hag and where they're going. My thoughts on them. So everyone I've spoken to that's a United fan has put this result, let's just go back actually, put this result here on Erik ten Hag. They've blamed him more so than any other player in this team. They have blamed Ten Hag for this loss, and I feel the exact same way. So I want to start by saying this. I still think that Erik ten Hag is a fantastic manager, and if I was a United fan, I would still trust him for the future of United. I would still put it in his hands, and I would still be very optimistic about where he could take us in terms of very positive places. But there are some concerns. There are something, like right now, I have, if I was a United fan, I have a lot of faith in Ten Hag making United great again. Right now, the way I feel right now is probably the lowest I felt on Ten Hag since he's joined, because of a few things. Now, firstly, there's a thing I want to talk about that's about pretty much ever since he joined, but there's also things I want to talk about with just right now, how they played against Tottenham and how they've been playing for most of the time with Ten Hag. And the first thing I want to point out is Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, Erik ten Hag's two best weapons, being crippled. What I mean by that is he is especially Rashford, playing them out of position, crippling their powers. Marcus Rashford is a winger. Now, he can play striker, he has done it before, but he is Rashford. He is the true 100% power Rashford on the wing. Where Garnacho is right now, that's where he should be. That is where you get Rashford in his entirety. Bruno Fernandes is a number 10 or a number 8, can transition, sometimes a number 6. He's not a winger. He is a number 10. He plays here. Rashford should play here. Bruno should not play here. He should play here. We can see my mouse cursor. I don't know why I'm saying here like that, but yeah. He's crippling them both. Now, let's start with the Rashford striker thing. Okay, so you could say to me, well, hold on. He needs to play Rashford as striker. Højlund is injured. They've got a lot of wingers United, and the only winger that can play striker is Rashford. No, okay, first of all, that's actually not true. He has Martial. He's there. Now, I know Martial is very unreliable, but he's fit. Now he can play. He came on. which means he could start. You could put him the striker role, then put Rashford on the wing. Now you could say that Martial would be a worse striker than Rashford at striker. I'm perfectly fine with that from a United fan, because then at least you get Rashford at his full best. Playing Rashford and Garnacho, Rashford as your striker, Garnacho as your winger that's in Rashford's position, you have a crippled Rashford and a young Garnacho who is, with all due respect, not ready for what United want to achieve, which is top 4 / going for the title. Garnacho is a fantastic talent, and as a football enthusiast, very excited to see what he can become. He is not that right now. He is not that winger that you need. You know who is? Rashford. So even if Martial would be worse than Rashford up front, it's still worth it, because you get Rashford at his best on the wing. So that for me should happen. Other options, Sancho, I believe, has experience as a centre forward. He can be there, he can play in that role. And then you put Rashford on the wing. Now, once again, you could say Sancho would be terrible, or at least worse than Rashford at that role. You still get Rashford at his best, and Rashford at his best is United's best weapon, including Bruno Fernandes. So he brought on Eriksen for Antony. So Antony is gone. He then puts Fernandes on the wing. I believe was it on the left or the right? Let me check. Was it on the left or the right? His heat map should tell us that. Where the hell? There he is. Right. So he put him on the right. So it's kind of crazy. He took off Antony, put Fernandes in Antony's position, and then brought on Eriksen to play in Fernandes' position. So Fernandes was at the 66th minute. Fernandes became the winger. Eriksen became the number 10 or number 8. This is a terrible decision. Eriksen. So first and foremost, like with Rashford, he's your best weapon, Fernandes, along with Rashford. You want him at his full extent, and he is half the player he is on the wing. You need to put him in the middle. That is where he is Bruno Fernandes, the one that we've seen these past 3-4 years playing fantastic football. Not on the wing. He can do it, he can do a job there, but you are still holding him back, putting him on the wing. Now you could say, well, it's worth to play him on the wing to compensate for Eriksen. No, it ain't. With all due respect, no, it's not. For me, what you do, if Erik ten Hag really wants to take off Antony and he doesn't trust Pellistri, well, actually, let me rewind. If he really wants to take off Antony, then I think you go for Pellistri or Sancho. He brought on Pellistri in the 85th minute for Mount, and he brought on Sancho for Garnacho. So Garnacho was on the left. Sorry, Sancho played on the left, Fernandes on the right. How about you keep either Garnacho or Antony on? Just take one of them off, or take them both off for Pellistri and Sancho, and that way Fernandes can stay in the middle. Now, if his thinking is, oh, but I really want Eriksen on the pitch, take off Mount. Just don't take off Fernandes or move him out of position. Don't do either one of those things. And he's been doing it for a while, and it's crippling both of them. He's the two best weapons on the offensive end. He consistently cripples them both. It's not the first time, nor second, third, fourth, fifth. It's happened a lot since he joined. And other things to talk about that is, I think, Ten Hag's fault. Antony has been terrible. Mason Mount has been terrible. Now, Mason Mount just joined, so we'll wait on him. But Antony has been there for a while, a year or so. He's been poop. He's been atrocious. And a lot of people like to blame the United board for not giving Ten Hag his men, the players he wants. And in some cases that is true. But in regards to Antony, that is who he wanted. Antony that is Ten Hag's guy right there. At Ajax, now at United, he wanted Antony. He got him. He's been atrocious. United fans have lost their patience with him, and if I was a United fan, I would have lost it too. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I find it funny, but if I was a United fan, I would have lost my patience with this guy a long time ago. I don't see where this is going with him. I don't see he has a good left foot on him, and that's it. He has a good left foot on him. He's an okay passer, I guess. I don't think he links well with his teammates. I don't think he makes good runs. I think his decision making is terrible. He makes terrible decisions. His football IQ for me is not high. I don't see what he brings enough to the extent where he can be in a starting 11 team that has the ambition to win the league or get top 4. I don't see how you can have him. And he is Ten Hag's signing, so that's on him. Another thing on him is I'm not bashing Mount, because I'm also bashing Ten Hag for playing Mount because Casemiro is being overrun. He is alone out there. I don't blame Casemiro for having a bad game. What's he supposed to do? He's by himself. Mount provides nothing. So what do? How about you bring in maybe how about you order Mount around? Tell him, hey, you know what? Defensive side of things. Let's focus on that. Or how about you tell that to Eriksen? How about you convince Van der Beek to stay? Or how? I understand Ten Hag is going through difficulties. He wants Amrabat. He hasn't got him. And you can say, oh, that's on the board. But for now, he has to make do. How about you, McTominay, Van der Beek, you try something with those two? How about maybe because look, this might sound crazy, but how about Martinez in the DM role and Lindelof with Varane in the back? Because he was from the Mount was taken off in the 85th minute. 85 minutes to fix this. He didn't even fix it. He brought in wingers. The game was gone at that point. He stuck with Ten Hag for the entire game, even though you can see from minute 1, Casemiro was being overrun. Never told Martinez to drop in deep. Never told Varane to drop in deep. Or brought on Lindelof for Mount to then Lindelof or Martinez to play alongside Casemiro to give him some help. None of that. That's a concern. And now we go to the biggest concern. Well, we'll get out of this screen, go into the talking screen. Ten Hag is starting his 2nd year. I don't know what he's going for with this team. I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know his style of play. I don't know exactly where he's going. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for now and say he'd wait until this transfer window is done. Wait until he gets his players, and we will then see what he can do with those select players. We will then see by the end of this season. But as of right now, whilst I still think he is a good manager, and there's still a lot of reason to be, faithful in him, these are concerns to be drawn. Because a year and somewhat in, I don't know what you're trying to go for. Whilst with Ange Postecoglou, who we just played against, game 2, you can see a hint of what he's trying to do, Postecoglou. You saw that with Arteta. Even though Arteta finished 8th and 8th, in his first 2 seasons, you could see what he was trying to do with Arsenal. Same with Pep and City, Klopp and Liverpool. From the get-go, you saw what they were trying to do, the style of play they were trying to implement. And even with Poch at Chelsea, you can see where they're trying to go, the direction they're trying to go in. What is Poch's football? What is Postecoglou's football? What is Arteta's football? I don't know what is Ten Hag's football. I know it from Ajax, but just going off United, I don't know what he's trying to go for here, Ten Hag. I don't know. And that is a concern. But it's early, and I would still have faith. Even after all of that said, I would still trust him to turn this around, because last season he got 4th and a trophy in a team very much looked ill-equipped to do so. So I think he deserves that benefit of the doubt, and I think he deserves at least a year and a half to get this under control, but not longer than that, because time is running out. I think if I was a member of the United board deciding on Ten Hag staying or not, I would now like to see from Ten Hag consistency, a clear image, a clear vision of this team, what he wants to do. I understand that the pieces are not all there, but you can always make do. You won't always get what you want. And I'm not asking Ten Hag to win a title here, just get top 4. How about that? That's I think okay, and should be an easy achievement for Ten Hag and this squad. But yeah, that's my general thoughts on this whole situation, guys. We are going to end the video right there. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Chelsea, I think they look good. Do you? United, they look terrible, I think, and I will be concerned. but I still would trust in Ten Hag for the rest of the season. Do you agree with that as well? Have a great day. Leave a like if you liked. Subscribe for more. You guys are the best. Have a great day. And as always, take care of yourselves.